Love and affection, no fear of rejection. This I know is true. Peace and contentment, no need for resentment. This I found in you. This I found in you.
Yo, what's happening? Jeez, y'all. It's your boy Papa Duck. Don't be mad at me. Yo, tried to tell him. Yeah. Goddamn, my lady pregnant again, but this time she pregnant with twins. Another collection plate. Come on, preacher, that's kind of strange. I'm sorry, God, I need that little change. I gotta do a couple things, cause that stimulus, it ain't stimulate. Tax time, the mama got pissed and won't let them claim the baby. They shooting again. These just crazy, they need some help. Man, they shot him in the hip. He fell out and shitted on himself. My cousin Paul called Fed time up the road, did a whole dime. He used to call home. I heard niggas crying in the background, saying to myself, this ain't how we supposed to live. Turn on Facebook, man, another bitch that got killed. For the love that my dog losing weight out here smoking cocaine cigarettes. 8 years old, shot in the head, had nothing to do with that. That baby innocent. Go get George Zimmerman if y'all just wanna kill a bitch. That's why I'm asking Jesus, please tell me why you leave us. Tell me why you leave. These people wanna dead. On the internet capping, that shit is fake, bro. In the mirror showing your ass, putting no makeup. Man, y'all better wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Man, y'all better wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Man, y'all better wake up. I've been telling y'all better wake up. You can't nail bitch, say Papa Duck, ain't say nothing. I told y'all everything. I told you I like the government stole it. I told y'all about COVID, the CIA and the cloning. MK Ultra, the whole world's under hypnosis. They turn the TV off, that's how Hollywood control us. And ain't no cure for cancer, you're right, that's some bullshit. If they can lead us and go to the moon, they'd have been done did it. And if you took the shot, I pray for you. Lord, no. Don't want black folk to grow, so they put us on birth control. And just cause you go to church every Sunday don't make you saved. 12 years of school's how you turn niggas to slaves. On our minds they put shackles, they lie, trickers and trappers. They use the influence of athlete, actors and rappers. For real, that fucked up, they did to Emmett Till, and all the pain his mom and family had to feel. That's why I'm asking Jesus, hey, please tell me why you leave us. Tell me why you leave. Why these people want us dead? You're on the internet capping, that shit is fake, bro. In the mirror showing your ass, putting no makeup. Man, y'all better wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Man, y'all better wake up. Wake up.
Yo, can I with you? What?
ACT, did you see this?
Look, if it ain't OfficialDanaJay, Levi for Kelly, or Prima Donna News, I don't even want to see it. Just take the dog. Look, you got some weed? I gotta get some. All right, hurry up. These and them here, everybody here, we waiting on you. All right.
So you got me here, they can come and watch us in. They gotta leave us alone. Say 11, what you gon' do now? Hope you're ready, cause I'm really about to put it down. Girl, you know that I will never disrespect you. We have tomorrow, but tonight I wanna spank you. That ass jump, gotta make it last now. Girl, I'm so, then I'ma beat it up. No, try to say stop when the beat say go. There you go again, that voice is cool. Watch you make your girlfriend go. Come on, come on, come on. You've been waiting patiently, wondering when and where I be. The cousin ruckus in the industry, making this so she can't sleep.
I hate to do this, but
No,
I have to.
oh
I have to talk to somebody.
Oh, I know. I've read all the articles, seen all the photographs, pictures of you and me in the magazine. I did all the interviews, and not once did I mention you. As the billboards walk right by you, I didn't want to make a scene because we agreed to keep it on the hush. Don't want everybody knowing about us. And I vow that forever I keep my word, baby. But I'm telling you now, the secret is driving me crazy. And I'm tired of creeping around with you. Girl, I wanna be with you. Tell me what the hell are we gonna do? I'm like, oh, 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 baby. We can't let the industry know, because our cover will be blown. If anybody is or so happens to see, girl, you've got your career and I've got family, and girl, that's why we can't let the industry know, because our cover will be blown. Don't want it to be known, gotta keep it on the low. Nobody, girl, we can't let the industry know. Wait, said you be my shelter in the midst of stormy weather. Texts of you telling me you are my umbrella. Girl, I just don't know what to do anymore. You and me on the QT is killing me slow. And even though I'm a little younger than you, it's okay. And I'm starting to feel that if people found out, then girl, it's okay. But then I saw you up in a song, for nothing on up in a video. I was so pissed that I jumped right up and went straight to the studio. Because we agreed to keep it on the hush. Don't want everybody knowing about us. And I vow that forever I'll keep my word, baby. But I'm telling you now, the secret is driving me crazy. And I'm tired of creeping around with you. Girl, I wanna be with you. Tell me what the hell are we gonna do? I'm like, oh, 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 baby, we can't let the industry know, because our cover will be blown. Anybody is or so happens to see, you've got your career with. I've got family, and girl, that's why we can't let the industry know. No, because our cover will be blown. Don't want it to be known. Gotta keep it on the low. Nobody. Baby, we can't let the industry. We have got to be careful. If we don't want nobody to get hurt, we've got to keep it private, girl. This relationship to ourselves. Though I agree, girl, it's killing me. Why do we have to hide from the industry? Baby girl, I'm tired of sneaking and creeping with one another. Every day it gets harder for me being your secret lover. We can't let the industry know. Anybody here so happens to see us. You got your career, I've got family. That's why we can't let the industry know. Cause our cover will be blown. Want it to be known. Keep it on the low. We can let the industry know what they do behind closed doors. Cause our cover will be blown.
Dream Team, what's going on? Welcome to Death Row Content. Big Vi in the building. Miss Lady T, Miss Caramel, love yourself. Daphne. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Death Row Content. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, and subscribe to this page, and don't forget the notification bell. Always do not forget the notification bell. So, I'm sitting back and I wasn't even gonna go live today, but I seen something that really got my attention that I haven't seen nobody else respond about or talk about. Even the people who claim that they advocate for Bill Cosby, I never heard them talk about Bill Cosby other than when it was hot. Uncle Kel supporters, hey. I will say this. Shout out to Andrew Wyatt. You know what I'm saying? I'm not breaking the story. I'm getting an interview from Viral Hip Hop News. This is their content because they were the first to break the story. However, Lexington Ren, what's up? However, many people don't know that 5 more women has been brought to the forefront to sue. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Toya.
How do I join the chat?
Well, just come in the chat, ugly.
I don't know how to do it. I'm asking you how to do it.
Where you at, on Facebook or YouTube?
I'm on Instagram. I mean, I'm on the thing you sent me.
Just type something in the chat.
Well, I don't see no damn chat. I'm on YouTube.
Right. I sent you the link.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, let me send this one to you. Let me send this link to you. Hold on. Oh yeah, that's the same one. I don't know. Hit the link.
I'm on the damn link.
And when you hit, I'm live. Why you cussing?
Oh, sorry.
Hit the link, and at the bottom where it say write your message, just write something in the message.
Write my message. I don't see that.
Hold
okay,
on.
I'll figure it out.
Hold on. Wait. I'm gonna do it with you. You go on, and yeah, you see where it say live chat. You come all the way down at the bottom, and it say chat publicly as Toya. You type in right there.
No, I don't see that. I just see you talking. That's all. And I see where I can make the screen full. That's it.
What?
I only see
Okay. Do you see a thumbs up on the left hand side?
Hold on, let me take this off of this. Thumbs up, left hand side. Nope.
You don't see where you can press a thumbs up or thumbs down?
Oh yeah, I do. I did the thumbs up.
Okay, right next to it, it's a live chat, right?
No, right next to it says share, save, and record.
So you don't see nothing that say live chat?
Nope.
Let me send this to you. And you on your phone?
Yes.
And you got iPhone, right?
Yes.
All right, hit the link I just sent you.
Okay.
Nikki M said, and you have to click live chat, but she said she don't see live chat, Nikki.
Yeah, Nikki, I don't see live chat.
Toya just want to be live with her bestie. That's all. That's all.
Boy, I'm not studying you. I don't even know what you're talking about today.
Boy, I'm not studying you.
I don't even know what you're talking about tonight. I don't follow all this Bill Cosby. I know what's going on.
All right. All right, so find live chat and then come in the chat.
I'll see it. Bye.
All right. Best friends. So somebody just told me I need to join Kevin Samuel's new group. I fit right in. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. Y'all know that Bill Cosby was getting sued by five different more women. I told y'all and before, but at CBS as well as other folks will be paying these women to do this. They have to tarnish his name. They have to drain Bill Cosby. A lot of people want to know why they draining Bill Cosby, because if you don't have nothing to fight with, right? If you don't have nothing to fight with, then you can't fight. So now that Bill Cosby's mouthpiece, Andrew Wyatt, is speaking out once again, everybody's sitting back like, oh, this. But it also plays into the injustice of what's going on with R. Kelly as well. Now, you have your select people that say, well, how was R. Kelly injustice and this and this and this? Because it was double jeopardy. I don't care how you slice it. I don't care how you say it. I don't care how you look at it. It was double jeopardy. And it's like, when you have the type of information the feds have, where their reach is unlimited, and they refuse to prosecute, but then after a docuseries, when the people are tainted, I don't think y'all heard me. When the people are tainted, it's more easier to convict somebody with a tainted jury pool than it is with somebody who's fresh and don't know what's going on. A tainted jury pool. How can you taint the jury pool? Easy. Pull out a documentary about somebody. Put out a what you call them, mini movies about somebody. Now, I know somebody gonna say, well, Bill Cosby ain't had no mini movie put out on him. He didn't, but he did. He didn't, but he did. I'm not going to tell you where to go watch it because I don't want it to spread. But I will say this. In that movie, they tried to exploit Lou Rawls and a couple others. Now, that's up to you to find out what movie it is, but don't put it in my chat because I don't want to know. I know the movie. I don't watch it. I hate it. However, when was the last time you seen a documentary about Jerry Lee Lewis? Mr. Great Balls of Fire. When the last time you seen a documentary about Elvis Presley? You ain't nothing but a hound dog. You didn't. But you see a documentary about Robert Kelly and others so on.
Actually, you seen R. Kelly be. I hate to say this, but with Robert Kelly, they buck broke him. They really brought him out, paraded him in front of everybody, praised him, and then destroyed him in front of us. And a lot of us sat back and watched it and didn't say nothing until the master said, "Oh, you can say his name again." Imagine if everybody that hated each other on YouTube could have got along and just went crazy for R. Kelly when it wasn't conventional to say R. Kelly. That would have been equivalent to the riot in Birmingham, I think, because you would have had everybody out there. But hey, okay, there you go. I see you, Toy. So I just look at it like when people talk, just sit back and listen. Don't hear them, but listen. Just like I told people this day, what's the day? 12/7/2022. I told everybody 12/7/2019. No, 2020. I'm sorry. No, 12/7/2019. Yeah. I said, no, it was 20. It was 20. I'm sorry. I said, when they get Avenatti on the Stormy Daniels case, because I know that whole background of that case, he was supposed to get 65 years minimum. Pay attention. He was supposed to get 65 years minimum. That's extortion. That ties into Nike. That ties into everything else. He was supposed to get 65 years minimum federal time. And then with the charges that he had, he was supposed to get his sentences heightened after that. Well, you seen the feds give him 4 years and then drop 32 charges. Feds never drop 32 charges. Then you seen him get 14 years off of 65 years. That's a slap on the wrist. And no charges went heightened. But you see R. Kelly get a total. And I know people talk about, oh, Robert only got 30 years. Stop running with that. Because if you break down Robert's charges, Robert got 135 years. But they all run consecutively, concurrent, what they call it. So it totals out to 30 years. But if he had to do each one of them one by one, it would have totaled out to 135 years in New York. How do I change my name? Hey, Nick, teach Toya how to change her name, please. So that's why when I say you got to understand what's going on out here in this political arena. Just because you got a channel, you jump out there, oh, this is injustice. This is no, man. You got to understand what's going on. Nikki M, can you help Toya change her name, please? You got to understand what's going on in this arena. This arena ain't cool for nobody. Now, I tell everybody, Viral Hip Hop News, go support them brothers. They out here doing it. They out here doing it. And they doing it greatly. I support them. I'm a follower of Viral Hip Hop News. Because I want to understand what's going on. I want to understand the hip hop side that they are deeply in. I'm not in that hip hop side. I know people on the hip hop side, but I'm not in there like that. So the question that I have is, why CBS want to try to break Bill Cosby? Is it because he's exposing what happened to R. Kelly? Was this a financial gain for the elites? And you got to look at it. When R. Kelly went to jail, his sales skyrocketed. Hold on. His sales skyrocketed. And what people don't understand is when it skyrocketed, it goes to the record label. Somebody asked me the other day, oh, if Rob get out, I said, if. When? Yeah, when Rob get out, you think he's still going to use R. Kelly? Why? If I was Robert Sylvester Kelly, I would leave R. Kelly right there in that cell, dead. I will pick up another persona and I will release new music. Then I'll go back and fight for the R. Kelly catalog. That's it. Y'all can keep R. Kelly because y'all built him. But I want the catalog that Robert Sylvester Kelly wrote for R. Kelly. And what a lot of people don't understand is in the arts, you have to embody yourself into stuff. So when you hearing R. Kelly do songs like Michael Jackson that sound like Michael, I'm not going to give you his regiment, but he have to embody Michael Jackson. When you see Bill Cosby embody Cliff Huxtable. Cliff Huxtable is a character that Bill Cosby made up. That's why Cliff don't sound nothing like Bill. And Bill don't sound nothing like Cliff. They just look alike. And a lot of people will say, well, that's the same person. It's not. Cliff Huxtable is a persona. It's an entity. Bill Cosby is a human, a man. Make this make sense? Everything that I've been telling y'all from day one is playing out in your face. Now, I had a lady that's got a little messed up projects in her mouth, talk about, oh, well, who's the real receipt person? This and that. I understand this. When the walrus and the unfit drunk gave whatever receipts they gave to me to go after people, that was on people. The receipt man didn't come from going after people. It came from dropping knowledge and gems about R. Kelly. Someone I know, someone y'all lust after. Now, y'all get the gist of it now? And the receipt man ain't come from going after people. That was just an extra bonus. But the receipt man came from dropping gems about knowing R. Kelly, about knowing about the case, about reading transcripts, about doing things and knowing the players in that case. Something you don't do, young lady, or old lady, or mid lady. You pick and choose. You have yet to do commentary about Sean Harris or Don Russell. Because you believe them. You believe in them. Show them you're a tiger, chitless tooth. Show them what you can do. The taste of missing every other space in your mouth. trying to eat Tony's Frosted Flakes. They bring out the tiger in you. I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know. So don't ever get it conflicted. And while you're doing all these meaningless polls, answer one question. Why did R. Kelly have to have surgery the first time? Answer that. And I'm going to leave that there. But back to what I'm saying. This whole thing, this whole attack on men, this Me Too movement, serious. And the one thing them Caucasians got, if they don't have nothing else, they will stick together whether they right, wrong, or indifferent. We won't. Women, men, dangle a carrot in front of them. They'll sell you out like ham bones sold out Uncle Tom. Now, why somebody say, he said that backwards? No, go read your history. Uncle Tom was not the bad one. Hambone was. So let's jump into this commentary because I ain't going to be here long. Andrew Wyatt on Viral Hip Hop News responding to the lies in the lawsuit. Let's get into it because I want to dive all the way into this. Let's go.
Yeah. Absolutely. We got Andrew Wyatt on the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast right now, spokesperson for Mr. Bill Cosby. Now, yesterday we woke up to a barrage of Instagram posts, Twitter feeds, news articles about 5 women who previously accused Bill Cosby of sexual assault, filing new lawsuits against the legendary Dr. Bill Cosby, according to a 34-page complaint report. I immediately hit you up. You immediately responded, and here we are. We appreciate you coming on the show and sharing some of your thoughts and sharing some of the truth and Dr. Cosby's perspective on what's going on. So, sir, the floor is yours. Can you please expound on it? Let us know what's going on.
Perfect. So you want to get into it now? Okay, perfect. Look, yesterday morning, my phone was ringing at 4 a.m. and we knew nothing about this. We knew Lily Bernard had filed something in New Jersey federal court in Camden. Lily filed that lawsuit, a federal lawsuit, saying that Mr. Cosby, if he had stayed in prison, she would have never filed it. But when he got out, she was in fear of her life. And of course, that's her reasoning for filing it. Now, Lily Bernard is the same lady. She's the lead on this lawsuit. If you saw her name, she was a character actor on the Cosby Show, where she came in and played this pregnant woman. I forget her character name. And Mr. Cosby, she was actually pregnant on the show, and it was a funny moment and everything on that show. But Lily is the same woman that was represented by Gloria Allred. When at the height of the allegation, she came out and said that Mr. Cosby had raped and drugged her in Atlantic City. So Gloria Allred in 2015 met with Atlantic City detectives for 7 hours. And then after she met with the detectives, the district attorney in Atlantic City, he decided to foreclose on any criminal charges against Mr. Cosby, saying that her accounts didn't measure up with anything. So there was never a lawsuit for Lily Bernard. Lily showed up. And here's the funny part, she was married to a civil rights attorney. Now, she just did a recent op-ed piece in Essence magazine where she claimed she divorced her husband because he was physically abusing her, sexually abusing her. That's what she claims. But this is a lady who has a lot of mental issues. In our trial, in civil trial in California, that we were there from April to June, Lily showed up with 7 of her children to try to jump on me and intimidate me. But that's the caliber of women we're dealing with. These women that they brought up, when you really look at it, 4 Black women. Lily Bernard touts herself as Black and Asian. Eden Turl, she did a set on the Cosby Show. Eden Turl is biracial. Jana Thompson, she's biracial. And Jewel Allison, now she's going by Jewel, another name, Jewel Gennett, but her name is Jewel Allison. And what they're trying to do, and then Sandra Ladd, her husband is the famous Alan Ladd, who starred in California Suites with Richard Pryor and Bill Cosby. So Sandra Ladd, all of these women came out in 2015. All of these women. And all of these women came out with the same story. Sandra Ladd is a white woman. She comes out with the story that Bill Cosby in 1960 something drugged and raped her. And all of these women, if you listen to their stories, Jewel Allison is a writer. She claims that Mr. Cosby, she woke up, she went out to dinner with him, and she wakes up and she's nauseated and she's delirious, but she noticed semen on her. And then she blacked back out. Jana Thompson, she claims that Mr. Cosby invited her out somewhere to dinner in the 80s, and he drugged and raped her or something to that effect. But now these allegations are 30 years ago, but the problem that we're having now is this new act that they have made law, and it took law, the Victims Act. It took law on Thanksgiving Day in New York City. So Senator Holloman, he constructed this bill after the Child Sex Act that expired last year. And so now what this act says, it took effect, and you get a year, 1 year up until November 2023 to bring civil charges against anyone. Even though the statute of limitations has ran, you can bring civil charges and say someone violently sexual assaulted me. So this new act now that they have put into law is extremely dangerous right now because, you know, it's no such thing as evidence and proof.
Right.
All you have to do right now is say that such and such, if he's famous and wealthy, he sexually assaulted me in 1972 in New York City, and you have 1 year to file a civil suit. And so this lawsuit that you're seeing, if you notice, they not only incorporated Bill Cosby, but the media just focused on Bill Cosby. It's Kaufman Astoria Inc. Kaufman Astoria was the production house where they shot the Cosby Show. You have the Carsey Warner Company. Carsey Warner Company, if you look at the end of any show, Bill Cosby Show, A Different World, Roseanne, you have Tom Warner and Marcy Carsey. They got the largest distribution deal. Tom Warner owns the Boston Red Sox. And Tom Warner owns 25% of the Cosby Show in A Different World. Marcy Carsey owns 25% of the Cosby Show in A Different World. And Mr. Cosby owns 50%. And then you bring in NBC Universal Media LLC. So the purpose of bringing those entities in is to say, if I'm doing this lawsuit and filing and coming after Mr. Cosby in a civil lawsuit on a contingency basis because none of these women have the money to pay me, what you're hoping is that these entities, large entities, billion-dollar entities, will settle out. And now you will have a machine and coffers of funds to go after Mr. Cosby to force him to come to a huge settlement as well. And if you can do that, this same law firm, the Merson law firm out of New York City, just 6-7 months ago, they had on their company website page a billboard as if Mr. Cosby is Monsanto, saying if any woman comes forward, we would do a class action lawsuit.
Money grab. Wow.
So this is a huge money grab. And I need people to really understand this is not about victims of sexual assault or victims of abuse. These are women who came out that they're trying to make the public believe, oh, this is a new round, a new group of women. No, These are women who came out at the height of the allegation, and they were all represented by Gloria Allred. And it shows now that Gloria Allred is now out of the picture. And what they have done is brought in 4 black women, even though they're biracial, they're black. And you bring in 1 white woman who's credible, like Sandra Ladd, and to make these women look credible. And it's about money. It's about forcing Mr. Cosby's hand to say, I'm going to give you $200 million and make this go away. It's not happening. And I want your viewers to hear my words. It's not happening. You know, we didn't get into this to just fight short term. But as I said on your show previous or early in the year, and when these allegations first happened, I did a press conference and I said, the Dave Chappelles, the Kevin Harts of the world, they better be very careful, because now Bill Cosby, this is bigger than him. He was the litmus test on how to go after a successful black man in America and destroy him. You know, we become very dangerous. I said this to Mrs. Cosby last night. I said, you all own the plantation. You know, you own the plantation, all of your properties.
Yeah.
And I said, the beauty of the plantation is that you own it, and the same white people who had blacks as slaves on the plantation clean up your property, clean up your houses. You know, and in America, that's very dangerous for a black man who in 1970 in Shelburne, Massachusetts, the primary residence, you live on thousands and thousands and thousands of acres. And every year, Mrs. Cosby buys 5,000 acres and put it in a trust for conservation.
Man.
Okay, now you have the house in Elkins Park, Philadelphia. You live on 5 acres in the county. 5 acres that you bought in 1980 something the house was once owned by the previous owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Wow. You know, you got that property. Okay, in New York City, you got the house on East 61st Street that you haven't lived in 30 years. And then you got the house on East 71st Street that was a French school you bought in 1984 for Mrs. Cosby's birthday. And on Millionaires Row, 19,000 square footage. Looks like a museum. And in 1983, you purchased the house in Pacific Palisades. You know, got leather floors in that house.
Dang.
So
never even heard of
that. You got leather floors of leather. And, you know, you have all of these properties, man, and you own over 15,000 acres of Mrs. Cosby's family property in D.C. Then you had another thousands of acres in Maryland that you had for your dogs when you won Westminster Dog Show.
Wow.
You had parking lots in Santa Monica. You had an apartment building in Santa Monica. You have one of the largest African American art collections. You know, when you have that type of wealth, that's an anger to quote unquote certain white people in America, and certain white people in America that you pissed off when you have tried to say that I'm going to come in here and I'm going to bring some form of structure to my people. And I was talking to Mr. Cosby yesterday about it. He said, Andrew, he said, when you talk to the guys, tell them I said hello. He said, but they need to understand one thing. They started with Bill Cosby. He said, they started with me, so they have to end with me. You know, you don't see these women using this sexual violent act bill that was passed, using it against Matt Lauer. You don't see them using it against Charlie Rose, Les Moonves, who owns CBS, whose wife was on the show to talk. where are they with Les Moonves? You know, because it's about Bill Cosby. It's about, they started with him and he's public enemy number one.
Now, how is it that, so you said it's not really about evidence? Give it us as much as you can. How do you really fight something like this? Like, how is this fought in court if it's not about evidence? That means anybody can just say anything at that point in time. So can you kind of take us down that road?
It's the same way we had to fight it in California.
Okay.
You know, it was a civil trial in California. Judy Huff, who claims that when she was a teenager, a minor, that Mr. Cosby invited her in the 1960s to the Playboy Mansion. Fortunately, you know, we had video, and the Playboy Mansion, the structure of the Playboy Mansion and the aesthetics of the Playboy Mansion didn't change that much when she brought her claims, and Gloria already represented her. So we had a camera crew. Hugh Hefner allowed us to come into the Playboy Mansion, take pictures, get video, and things like that. But, you know, what you do is you have to look at the person's background. You have to investigate the person's background. I have hundreds of pages of investigation product on Lily Bernard and all of these women. From when they first came out, they were a part of the 60 women. So, of course, my investigative team, we have all the background that's going to show the public, you know, who these women really are. That's going to show the public that this is not the first time they've accused somebody. You know, one of the 60 women that came out against Mr. Cosby, and I remember saying to Don Lemon, why didn't you question her about who she is? PJ Maston. PJ Maston was one of the 60 women, but no one ever said that she's the same woman that took down Marv Albert because she accused him of biting her, sexual assaulting her, which ruined his career and stopped his career. You know, and she's known for that. You know, Janice Dickinson, she accused Sylvester Stallone of certain things, of fathering her child, and he got a paternity test and proved that it wasn't true. You know, that's the only way you fight these matters, man. You know, it's hard to find people, witnesses, because most of the people have passed away. That's what we ran into in California. But we had a judge in California, one of the women in California, and just to give some color and background to how we fight this, Margie Shapiro. She claims that she worked at a donut shop and Mr. Cosby was shooting Let's Do It Again. And he came and got some donuts. He invited her to his house, and she kept a matchbook from 1970 something. She kept it and had like 7 matches in there that had not been used. And she wrote in there, the night I met Bill Cosby. Well, she claimed that same night we took her matchbook. Now this is her matchbook she kept as memorabilia for a guy who drugged and raped her. Now you kept it for 30-something years, over 30-something years. You keep it, and you have it with all of your items of celebrities that you met that you're fond of. So she said that on that date, she wrote the date in her matchbook down. She said, I wrote the date because that's the date he raped me and drugged me. And we said, really? So my investigators, we had done really deep research, man. And my team is fantastic. And the day she claimed that Bill Cosby raped her and drugged her, she was in police custody.
Shucks.
She was in police custody for grand theft. Whew. The judge then tries to look at the police record and said, oh, no, that doesn't mean that. Well, like, it's right here in black and white. The judge said, look, I'm going to end court today, and you guys need to prove that this police record, and it has Los Angeles, and it has the name of the officer who arrested her, and we come back that next day, and we showed the judge the proof that she was in custody. She had to go to court. She had a hearing. Then we showed him proof on another date she gave that she was pulled over by the officers and she had methamphetamines. We had pictures of it where the officers took pictures. And the judge still still tried to say to protect her. So the question is, when you do these, I tell everybody the worst mistake to do if any attorney comes to you and say, "Hey, do a bench trial," you say, "Hell no." Excuse my language, but you say, "Hell no," because then everything is in the judge's hand. You always want a jury trial, and you always want to get a jury trial and say, I don't want my jury from this area, especially if that area has been gentrified and it no longer represents you. And you would better be like we did in Montgomery County in the first trial. Now Tom Mesereau, I love him to death, but he didn't listen to me on the second trial. We got our jury the first trial in 2017 out of Allegheny County, coal mining area, blue collar town, Pittsburgh, and those people don't go for that type of stuff. So that's just a little of the strategy. We have started. I have boxes on Lily Bernard, so that wasn't hard. But all of these other women, we have started just yesterday, and that's why I couldn't do your show when you reached me, Sam, on yesterday. But we have started compiling all of this information, and my job is to make sure I get it compiled, make sure I go over it with the attorneys, make sure I tell the attorneys, hey, this is how it's going to be, this is how it's going to go, this has to be the strategy, and because the problem that we're facing now, and that's what I said in the video I did, we need your show. We need your viewers. We need people to go on their social media platforms and say, look, we're not saying for you to say if Mr. Cosby is innocent or guilty, but we're saying for you to say, this is not right. How do you come 30 years from now, no evidence and proof? And the facts are out there. We're saying for people, I know it's a lot of information to take in, and the media did its job of putting so much out there to where the public can't read it all. It's impossible to read all of the depositions, the trial transcripts. I get that. But as Mr. Cosby, he just said, I just want you to focus on the truth and facts. Was Mr. Cosby, was he out here having fun? Yeah. Did he cheat? No one has ever denied that, okay? Him and Mrs. Cosby, that was between a husband and wife. They worked that out together. I'm not saying Bill Cosby is a perfect person. He would say that to you. Did he have, look, you can't be one of the biggest names and you don't go out there and do some things that are not morally right when it comes to your marriage. He has never said that I'm the perfect husband, I'm the perfect man. We all have our fallacies. We all do. But when you look at the evidence of these women coming out, they have nothing to back it up. All you want to say is that he drugged and raped me. Well, when you look at a Quaalude, they stopped making Quaaludes in 1980. But if you look at a Quaalude, and we have it, because Margie Shapiro, one of the accusers, one of the witnesses for Judy Huff in California earlier this year, we had her to explain to the jurors, what is a Quaalude? She said, well, I heard all of these women coming out saying that a Quaalude makes you lethargic and paralyzes you. She said, it's not true. She said, a Quaalude heightens it heightens the sex up. It makes it more intense. It makes the orgasm more intense. She said, it's like drinking like a bottle of wine. She said, but you're very aware of your surroundings. She said, you could get up and drive if you take a Quaalude. It doesn't stop you from driving. She says, like people smoking marijuana. She said, it doesn't, make it where you're intoxicated and you can't do anything and you're paralyzed.
So do you think that this was an attempt to grab money right around the time they found out this act was getting put in place? Or do you think that this was something that was brewing right after he was released from prison and they didn't technically get what they want? How do you think this elaborate plan for money came up?
I think it's both. I think when he got out of prison, look, when he was taken into custody and sentenced, the Judy Huff matter was given a permanent stay. The civil trial in California, that was in 2014. When he got out, that trial should have never happened, because what they did, California had passed that look back law in California and made him a beneficiary of it. But when he got out, Gloria already reached out to us and said, I'm going to go to the courts and ask that the permanent stay be removed. And of course they did that. This has always been about, here's several things that didn't happen. Bill Cosby did not die in prison. Now, he out on one visit, I never forget, I visited him, and since he's blind, he can't see. And I looked at him, I said, man, something ain't right. His eyes look like red crayons. And I know he has blood pressure issues. And I said, Mr. C, something ain't right, man. His clarity, it wasn't sharp. So I left the prison. I called Mrs. Cosby, and then I called the prison. I got with the attorneys, and I said, no, he needs to go to the infirmary ASAP. And he did. And while in prison, he had 2 surgeries. He had 90% blockage on the right and left side. His carotid arteries were blocked 90%. And it was so much blockage that he could have stroked out and passed away in prison. So I like to say that prison, in a sense, did save his life on that regard. But then he did the prison time, and the height, while he's doing the prison time, COVID happens. He never got COVID. So they never got what they wanted, seeing him die in prison, because that was the end goal. They looked at his age and they looked at, but what we had him doing, rinsing off his food and all of that stuff under the sink, even eggs, trying to get as much salt off it as possible. And, I always like to tell people, I said, man, when I walked him out of that prison, when I saw him come out, because I had not seen him in person because of the pandemic, they shut down all visitation. I had not seen him in person since March of 2020. And I just saw him a couple of times on video where we did Zoom links. But you couldn't tell anything. When I touched his arm, man, he was so frail. And I'm talking about frail. It was like, you could feel some almost bones in his arm. And, I would say this, another 6 months to a year, I don't think we would be having this conversation, about Bill Cosby still being here. When he came home, he was 100. When he went in, he was 225, 230 pounds. He's 6'2". And when he came out, he was 180 some pounds. And had dropped weight significantly. And when I got him home to the Philadelphia house, the next day I had my guys drive him to Mrs. Cosby in New York. And at the New York house, she had doctors there. She had a psychiatrist there. She had acupuncturists there, chefs. She got him an Epsom salt bath and got him. And she said, Mr. Wyatt, by his birthday, July 12th, I'm going to put some weight back on him. And by his birthday, she had 12 good pounds put back on him. And she said, I promise you, by his birthday, she said, give me to his birthday. And when I got her, and she was at 12, man, look, she got him back. And now he's back in the playing shape. But, this whole deal now, man, is about, it's about money. And, this act, for this act to go into effect on Thanksgiving, and then you try to use the same formula that they used at the height of the allegations in 2014, you came out with these allegations around the holidays. And I never forget, on Brian Steltz's show, Reliable Solutions of CNN, this writer out of Philadelphia, the editor-in-chief of Philly Magazine, Bob Huber, he comes on the show and he says, do not let Ferguson, because that was the height of Mike Brown being murdered. Do not let Ferguson and the holidays take Bill Cosby out the news. And it was so funny. Mr. Cosby and I had just talked 2 weeks ago. We said, man, it's rather quiet out here. And he said, they're brewing. And he kept, I said, well, what are you talking about? He said, I guarantee you, Andrew, they're brewing something up to come after me. He said, because it's too quiet. And now he has, because of all of this going on, you know, you're just programmed to think the worst sometimes, that when it's too quiet, you always are thinking that something's about to happen. And yeah, and then, you know, this lawsuit is filed where these women are asking, you know, they're hoping they're going to get almost $400+ million and break him. You know, they want to take everything. They want the properties. They want to, you know, they want everything. Um, they don't like the fact that he still has what he has. So it's not about justice. If it was about justice, I would be the first one to tell you guys, you know, I'm not going to affect my credibility or reputation if it was about true justice. But this is not about justice. This is to say, if we can become successful at Bill Cosby, okay, now what other state is going to do a look back window and an act like this? Because anytime they can say, well, hey, the statute of limitations doesn't matter now, it's expired, you can't get criminal charges, but because it was about justice, you would want criminal charges for someone that raped. But to make an act and create a bill for civil matters, that lets you know it's about money.
Absolutely. So what's the next course of action for you guys? Whatever you can explain to us. What's next? So you guys do to go to court anytime soon? You kind of
well, no. It's gonna look before you get to that stage. It's tons of discovery, depositions. You're talking about maybe 2 years from now. You know, you file tons of motions asking the judge to throw it out. You know, so we'll be going through that process. Look, you know, it costs you a lot of money to defend these cases. You're talking about millions of dollars. So you're talking about, you know, not just $5 million. You're talking about upwards to 10 to 15, $20 million just to defend it. And you know, because you know, it's costly, you know, because think about it, you know, you got 5 women here. Well, you got 5 women, you got to investigate, you got to do discovery on, you got to do depositions, you got to, you know, it's a lot that goes into these types of trials. And I think people don't, you know, quite understand, you know, until you're in one, how many resources go in it. But if you don't get out here, like what I'm trying to do now, and tell the story and bring just a little color to it, and if I could get everybody to understand, this is not to scare anyone, but this is a dangerous precedent set, because if you all have sons and your sons, you see some type of talent in your sons, whether it's with their brain or their entertainment, rapping, or athletics. If you see that talent, you know, now they have a formula to use our own women to destroy us, for the simple fact of greed. Greed does exist.
I got it. I mean, what do y'all think about that? That's crazy. I mean, some things you can't even substant. I mean, like, Jesus. Did you hear the ballpark figures that they was talking about? Oh my God. Y'all going way off topic. Y'all done went to talking about Emmett Till. I'm just saying, like, what is y'all opinion about this? Because this is deeper than what people can imagine. This is a real hit on the celebrity world. And I'm glad Mr. Wyatt came out and spoke the truth and his piece about it. I'm just saying, like, this is crazy. This is really crazy. Like, that's the type of conversation after hearing that you just got to sit back and be like, what? What? They're trying to alternate niggas. Is it Niccas or are you saying Niggas? Or are you doing Nigas? I mean Nigus. Which one you doing, J-Rock? It's crazy because it makes sense of why they trying to kill off the men, or they trying to kill off the strong women and turn them to the alphabet women, so that way they can go after who? The men, the young boys of the next generation. I was reading something where they said they are predicting that if MK Ultra and the capital letters have their way, no, the lowercase letters have their way, the masculinity of men will be gone by 2024. And I'm going to go here. This is why a lot of people fall by the wayside. Coretta said, who's going to protect our black community as a unit? Coretta, show me a black community. Black means death. So what you're saying is, who's going to protect our dead community as a unit? Why should you protect something that's dead? I'm going to ask you this question. Can these dead dry bones live? It's not until people get back into the books and realize that what they are giving you to speak is not real lingo of our people. So you can't get back, and so you can't come and go to court and say, oh yeah, us black people, the judge gonna look at you like you crazy, like she ignorant, she don't know. And a lot of people take that word ignorant offensive. Why? Jealous-hearted as Cenobites are always after our hard work and wealth. Okay, so let's go here. What about the women that's not after the men to destroy, but are after the men to uplift? Why do those women get treated badly? I know it's going to be a whole nother live. And me and Toya probably talk about that on Friday. But let's go there. Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before thy feet. That's Revelation 3:9. Ain't we saying that now? Coretta said, our ethnic race, our common cause, our roots, our humanity, our human rights. Don't none of that result to black. None of it. None of that result to black. And the problem is people are so stuck on this is what I'm comfortable with that when you push them out that comfort zone, they shut down. Life is supposed to be about learning every day, right? So if life is about learning every day, how can you get stuck in being comfortable in something? When you're stuck and get comfortable, there's no room for growth. If there's no room for growth, what are you living for? Every day you're supposed to grow. So I'm just saying, make this make sense. I'm just keeping it real. Last year, 4 years ago was Bill, it's 22, 2014, 4, 6, 8 years ago was Bill Cosby. 4 years ago was R. Kelly. 8 years ago was Bill Cosby. 4 years ago, it was R. Kelly. The next 4 years coming up, it could be your son. Could be your grandson. Could be your husband. Could be your brother. Could be your uncle. Make this make sense. They ain't playing. That's why I say what I say. I don't got time to argue with nobody no more. Not unless it's about truth. Now, if you're going to put your truth out there, then hey, and we can debate it all day. If I have points to debate. So I will not put that in the air on my boy, J-Rock. That's why Trey got things in play right now. No. Keep him and Chris Brown out of certain things. Hold on. You're live on the DanaJay show. How can I help you?
DanaJay, what's happening? This new Black Panther, bro.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just checking out your show, man. I get what you're saying about black men and death. And to a sense, you and the other person that said that, both of y'all are right. Because black men are, like, I'm not going to say physically, but mentally dead and spiritually dead, because we've been dead for, I want to say, 500 years or spiritually 6,000 years. Because we don't know who we are. So it's like we really are dead. You know what I mean? Because we're on a dead level. So it's like you're right, and people that saying black, that always say black, they are right, because basically we are dead because we don't know who we are. So I get what you're saying. I get what the people that use black terminology saying also. And another thing I heard Andrew Wyatt say was, Bill Cosby, they after that man money, after R. Kelly money, and they gonna be after everybody else, black or of color money also, if they don't wake up and realize who the enemy is. And it's like, I understand we built this country 400 years, whatever. I get it, but it's like we are in a domestic, what do you call it, a physical abusive relationship with these European people. They beat us, lynch us, kill us, hang us, all this good stuff or whatever. We still fight to stay here. It's like we are abusive. We are abused woman that's getting beat on by the man every day. You know what I mean? And we still in the house, but only thing we have to do is just walk the fuck away. Walk away, because it's like, even though we did all the work and everything like that, it's more, this country is ours by law, yes. But I mean, why don't you just invest your money somewhere else? Like I was telling you the other night on the phone, I don't know if you remember that conversation.
Yep.
Okay, so it's like, bro, it's like we gotta win. I understand we can keep on fighting, but damn, when do we get tired of fighting as people, as a race of people? We gonna get tired of fighting. We've been fighting since we've been over here Africa we've been fighting since we've been over here, got off the slave ships, you know what I mean, and landed over here, you know. So
Well,
when is it gonna be enough though?
But I'm gonna be honest with you. When I hear people say we've been over here since we landed on since we landed off of slave ships, I don't believe that many people were brought over here on slave ships. And I'm gonna tell you why. And I'm gonna tell you why. The United States of America, right? The corporation, they are big on show and tell. You never seen the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria. You never seen none of that.
Right.
So how do we know that those ships ever existed? And I had this conversation on my job, and it made people uncomfortable. Well, this type of conversation is supposed to make you uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, you have slave houses and stuff here, but you got to realize people wasn't bringing people on those ships like that in those type of conditions, because you would have been carrying dead cargo. Because coming from Africa, okay, let's go here. Coming from Africa, strapped down to a bottom of a ship, going through untype of conditions, and you just land there and people throwing up and everything. What is the whole, what's the word I'm looking for? What do you think the percentage of people would be that survive that type of gruesome trip? On top of that, and we had